let me go through this.
Do you think you
part of
could
my
get
time
elected
life.
in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is be playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay.
To give you a direct statement right there.
I always have friends where I work, and if I don't have friends at the job, I will not keep the job. So when I was fired the last time from this show, people say to me, were you okay with that? And my answer is, I was happy.
I think I'm going to miss the friends that I have here.
Okay, we have to talk about what happened on The View recently. When Matthew McConaughey made an appearance on the show to promote his new book, it wasn't a pleasant interview. Here's what happened. The whole situation worsened when Matthew's reaction to Joy Behar's discussion of gun politics didn't go as planned. The interview turned uncomfortable, as you could see by the look on her face that she didn't enjoy the pushback. That's just one aspect of the incident. Prior to all of that, Joy Behar seemed utterly bewildered and, according to the accounts of those there, became so agitated by something Matthew said that she departed the stage at the intermission.
I don't think anyone thinks you're one way or another way. And in 2021, you considered to run for governor of the state of Texas before deciding to focus on your family.
Yep.
Do you think political office is in your future? Can you see that?
If it's where I would deem myself to be most useful?
After we massaged our feet, this is what transpired. If you've been watching The View for a while, you might actually remember this. Back in 2006, Matthew McConaughey was on the show and ended up giving Joy Behar a foot massage. And apparently, that moment stuck with Joy hard, because during this latest episode, as soon as they started talking about that old clip, she kind of leaned back in her chair and just casually stuck her foot out toward Matthew again, like she was expecting a repeat performance. Now, just to be clear, the producers did roll the original clip. In it, you see McConaughey grabbing Joy's foot and rubbing it while everyone laughs and claps. She loved it. She even called it one of the highlights of her life. That's how seriously she took it. But fast forward to now, the vibe was totally different. You could see it in Matthew's face the second she put her foot up. He gave this awkward smile, but he barely touched her foot this time and didn't even try to fake enthusiasm. And honestly, a lot of viewers felt like, why is she doing this to a married man on live TV? Which, to be fair, is a valid point. Like, flip the situation. If a male host asked a female guest for a foot rub twice on air, we'd probably be having a very different conversation right now. Even Whoopi tried to move it along quickly. She jumped in with, I'm just going to let all of that go by. It wasn't even the day's biggest news, but it was a weird moment, and they tried to shift the topic before things became any more awkward. Let's now discuss McConaughey's original motivation for being on the program. Matthew has been utilizing his position to advocate for gun safety, even as he was promoting his new book. He is credited with founding the Green Lights Grant Initiative with his wife Camila, which assists schools in obtaining federal funds to enhance student safety. It sounded like a decent statement when Joy mentioned his efforts on gun control, but then she asked him whether he believed that being anti-gun would help him win an election in Texas. As he put it, I'm in politics to give you a direct statement right there is to be playing a game that I'm not interested in playing. To be fair, he is not anti-gun, but he did see precisely what she was doing. Now, take a moment to think about it. It's a highly heavy question, not simply a casual one. He has said repeatedly that he is in favor of responsible gun ownership, and has even provided detailed justifications for it. The AR-15's purchase age is being raised to 21 years old due to background checks. Joy attempted to portray him as being anti-gun, which is inaccurate, but many responsible gun owners do favor red flag regulations. He said that he appreciated the Second Amendment, but believed that some people were abusing it, but he never said that he intended to make weapons illegal. It was evident that Joy was becoming irate when Matthew refused to obey.
Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is be playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay,
To give you a direct statement right there.
Things became a bit weird and incredibly fascinating at this point. Joy said, "Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?" And Matthew provided that insightful response. Things didn't exactly settle down during the commercial break, based on what individuals in the crowd and near the stage were saying. According to studio banter, Joy was irritated and said that she hadn't anticipated the guest's response, particularly not so bluntly on live television. She didn't seem to want to come back from the break at all, according to several, and when she did, the atmosphere was very different. Joy, who often has one of the biggest voices at the table, barely looked at Matthew before being silent, which is rare for her. But in this case, it was as if a switch had been flicked. Sunny Hostin, not Joy, grabbed up the conversation again and went right in with a soft reset, stating something along the lines of, "I don't think you're anti-gun. This is where things got worse. I think you're in favor of laws and gun control." It was clear that the mood was uncomfortable now, therefore she was simply attempting to undo the damage. Joy's comment had gone too far. Matthew maintained his composure, but if you're watching this and thinking, wait, is Joy always like this? You can see he had had enough of being nice and wasn't going to fall for any more ruses. You're not wrong, then let's talk about it. In a number of stories and recordings, Joy has been seen to interrupt her co-hosts and come out as rude, agitated, or just contemptuous. Mid-sentence, she rolled her eyes at guests and even snapped at the crew during live recordings, and we're not talking about one-off moments. This has been going on for years. There are even entire Reddit threads where viewers talk about stuff like how she dominates conversations, refuses to let others finish their thoughts, or just shuts things down if the topic doesn't interest her. And here's the thing: when Whoopi Goldberg is out and Joy steps in as moderator, it gets really tense. Fans have noticed that when Joy leads, the energy changes. It's less of a group conversation and more like the Joy Behar show. She cut people off and sometimes even end segments early. And yeah, some of that can be written off as just her personality. She even jokes about being grouchy, but let's be honest, there's a big difference between being funny and being disrespectful, which brings us back to what happened with Matthew. This wasn't some rare outburst, it was part of a pattern. She tried to corner a guest with a hot-button question, didn't like the answer, and then shut down when things didn't go her way. But Matthew didn't play by her rules. He didn't give a headline quote. He didn't let himself get boxed into a label. He didn't give her the reaction she was expecting, and that might have hit a nerve. Joy's used to being in control of the table. She throws out the questions, and usually, guests go along with it. They laugh, they play the game, they give her the soundbite. But Matthew, he's not that guy. He's careful with his words and not about to be baited into a one-liner that misrepresents what he really believes. And honestly, that kind of calm confidence can really throw people off, especially folks who are used to dominating the room. It's like when someone refuses to argue back, and that makes you even more frustrated. That's kind of what happened. Here, she couldn't rattle him and instead ended up rattling herself. And if you've ever dealt with someone who has to win every conversation, you know exactly what that looks like. So yeah, that's why this moment blew up the way it did not. Just because of what was said, but because of how it was handled and who was willing to stay cool when things got heated. What do you guys think? Did Joy cross a line with that anti-gun question? Was the foot massage moment just a callback to a funny old memory? Or did it make things even more uncomfortable? So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.